maybe Kristen.
Okay. Sorry,
I did just take roll, I feel like, so.
Yeah, it's always good just so that we can acknowledge who's here. It helps whoever's doing minutes as well. And especially with Leah not being as used to it with hearing voices. So yeah, we usually do it for all the meetings if we can.
Okay, I've never done it. So, so
you just go down the list and each person would answer by saying here.
Okay.
No, they're absent. We say absent. So
I should know that from being in school. Okay. Thank you, Kristen. All right, Sky here. Shanda here. I'll say it for her. Jeff. He's here. Okay. Who's the guest? I'm not sure. John Lyles.
I'm here.
He's here. We've got Kristen.
Yeah.
Here. Okay. Mark Swanson. We have Rachel Hay.
Here.
Sean Garland.
I am here.
And Winnie Parmar.
Present. I wanted to do that, sorry.
Okay. Is the guest somebody I should be concerned about? Or is that... Can you all see that?
Yes, I can see it too.
Do we know?
We might say Casey Chen not here.
Okay, Casey not here, unless.
And acknowledge that Leah is here.
I did say that.
Oh, good, awesome.
I'm just concerned now at our mystery guest, but okay.
Which is weird too, because it's a different shape than the rest of us as circles.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right, well, moving on. Any adjustments to the agenda? And if there are none, then I will move on ahead to the approval of January minutes. Has everyone had a chance to read through those?
Yes.
Yep. They look good to everybody.
Yep.
Do I have a move to approve?
Yes.
I have a motion to approve. Any seconds?
Yes.
I think we have to have a different person second.
Oh,
second. Yes.
Okay, so John, so Rachel made the motion to approve. John seconded, and all in favor of approving the January minutes? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, January minutes are approved. Thank you. Do we have any citizen comment tonight?
We do not have any citizen comment tonight.
Okay. All right. We're just moving right along. Right on to Shanda and the Center for the Arts update.
All right. Thank you. Nice to see everyone. So the latest is we distributed over 100 Valentine card kits to people in our community, which was a really fun project, part of the Community Psyche program. A lot of those Valentines went to the senior center to be distributed, and with the lunches that get distributed to seniors in our community. So that was a fun thing to do. We have been in meetings about summer camp feasibility, and right now we are trying to figure out what our best plan moving forward is for holding summer programs. Still looking for more information, but that's we're in the same boat as every other summer camp program in the state right now. And as you all know, the county moved from extreme risk to high risk as of last Friday. So we are in the midst of figuring out what that means for Arts Center programs. And that's
the update.
That is the update.
I love the Valentine's thing. That was such a great idea. I'm really glad that you did that. I wanted to do some, but sadly. But it looks like every kit was picked up, right? You ran
Yeah.
out? Yeah.
Well, we had a few different distribution points, and the ones that were not picked up went out with the YMCA food boxes last week. So
That's great.
That was good.
What a nice thing. Love it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Unless there's any questions for Shanda, I'll move on to the next item. Wow, okay. We are now to the Friends of the SDA update. So I just got out of that meeting. This meeting tonight was our budgeting meeting for the year. A little behind, but and last week we did a visioning meeting for 2021. And basically, we are a little bit in hibernation, just trying to make sure that our board stays viable for years to come. So we're really slashed any possible spending right now. We're kind of just waiting and watching what happens with the center, because obviously we're the this nonprofit board of the center, the Friends of the Center. And until they can really open up and start doing some more, we'll be a little bit in hibernation. But we are looking at doing some type of community spirit building events. Hopefully, maybe this summer, maybe in the fall. Right now, of course, it'll probably be online, but something fun to get the community involved and raise spirits, and hopefully something focused at the center, maybe along the lines of a trivia night or something like that, but with a twist. And our plan is to kind of come out of this pandemic ready to go, though. So we're going to start planning our gala as much as we can, just so we're ready when things do open back up and we have a good kind of reopening plan. We're still going to look to do some bottle drives this year and just other little ways that we hope to bring in money. But we really slashed down the budget, so we're not spending, and we're going to just kind of be flexible and watch and see what happens as things start opening it up, and maybe we can add some more. But the big thing we did leave was some money scholarship fund, since that's pretty near and dear to our hearts, and we think that benefits the center and the community, and that there might be a need for that, especially if we get summer camps going or some other classes. So we did leave some money in our budget for that. And I think that's about it for the Friends update. So moving along to our public art engagement, pavement art and Be the Light. And I hear that you tried out pavement art this week. I was sad to not make it. How was it?
It
John,
was really
do you want
cool.
to speak to that?
Yeah, it came out really well, and I don't know, did you see any difference between the ones that we really squirted on that stuff versus the ones we did light?
No, I didn't. Yeah, so it keeps emphasizing in the directions, only use a little bit, spray very lightly, and we kind of took that seriously the fourth time.
Where'd you do?
But they're currently there's 2 spots in front of the art center right now, and I checked today, and even with it's kind of slushy and icy out there, but there are still little pieces of pavement art out there. So I would love if you can come and see them. I don't want to tell you exactly where they are. I'd rather you have that thrill of discovery. But we did try out several of them out there, Casey and John and I. Good news, they're very user friendly. They will not take a lot of time to put around town if we want to create these moments of delight. with minimal effort, but maximum feeling behind it. They're very user-friendly.
Yeah, I think with the images, we just, in the sense we were just testing out how well they worked, but we should really think out a sense of a scene per se. And we were looking at how the actual inside shape was like the primary, but once you punch out that shape, now you have a secondary option to potentially do an outline of the shape where that might kind of be more suitable for whatever scene it is that you want to create.
Yeah, the interesting thing about it too is it's you could make a tiny, like one is a tiny little sunshine shape, and you could also, I could see someone doing a large scale stencil, and Casey is going to try to freehand make some stencils on a larger scale, and it's kind of it's a very cool product.
Yeah,
Actually.
so that's what I was
Sorry.
thinking of, that putting that, like we were talking about, putting like a compass in the park. If you just had large pieces and you did the outside of them instead of the inside, you'd have like that washed out look. Would be kind of cool, I think.
Yeah. So I hope that we could discuss a little bit the next step, how to distribute and where. I think our biggest challenge will not be finding cool places to put them or creativity from the people in this body. It will be weather and figuring out how to get them to people. So we were lucky. We were lucky enough to have a dry day, but this past weekend, not a dry weekend, but I feel like we'll be most successful if we can look ahead in the forecast and find maybe 2 dry days in a row, and perhaps distribute materials from the center lobby sometime, and we can all spread out across the city in some of the locations that we talked about.
So are these individual materials that you can hand out and maybe give a particular location to per person, and as soon as they see nice weather, they can go and do the art? Is that an option?
Yes, we could do that as well. I'd love to figure out how best to do this. What is needed is a stencil and something to weigh down the stencil. We used painter's tape, but they suggest rocks. We don't have a pile of rocks out there. Painter's tape worked really well. And then you need a little spray bottle of the solution, which goes a long way. So we could put them in smaller bottles, and there's some directions. I found the written directions very helpful. I like having written directions for myself.
Yeah, that overflow cardboard was kind of helpful too, because if we would have gotten overspray, you would have had like a weird shape of the stencil, the outside of the stencil.
Yeah, it is helpful to have at least a second person there to just hold up a piece of cardboard or a piece of foam board or something to protect from wind. It's pretty powerful stuff. So even a little bit of overspray will show up as spray on your pavement.
Does it get on your clothes too? Is that something to think about, or no?
No, it's a water-based solution. It's extremely eco-friendly and it doesn't stain. So
is there a how-to video just in case?
There are.
The
yes,
websites.
There is a how-to video as well as written directions.
Perfect.
Would it be helpful if I sent that out to everyone?
That'd be great. And I'm sorry if I missed this. Did you say if you were able to print our own custom
Stencils?
Thank you.
Yes.
Or not? Yes.
We are able to. We have a Cricut here at the center.
Did you try it out yet or not? Not yet.
We have not. We ordered some materials. We kind of wanted to see what the feel of that stencil material was, and then we ordered some similar material that would also fit on the Cricut machine. So that should be here very soon. I wonder if it might be most expeditious to have us here with all the stencil supplies and have times when we could either look at the weather and put the alert out to everybody to come and get the materials and head to your designated location that we could assign folks depending on where your comfort level is.
Yeah, Shanda, it might be nice if it was almost similar to, I'm thinking of how we've done, I know it's a smaller group, but Trash Palooza or the Sheep, or have everybody meet and then get people in groups and have a few locations and send them out together, or at least then if everybody's doing it at the same time, we can call back and forth and be like, hey, I need some help over here, or this isn't working so well, or I need more supplies, instead of just having people pick things up and go off on their own and hope for the best. But if we pick a half a day or a couple hours and send a few teams out to designated locations, like within the parks or wherever we decide is the best way to do it, then we can help each other out.
Love it. Thank you. Yes. And I feel like we're going to have a very small window of friendly weather.
Right.
So, does that sound good with everybody?
Yeah.
So we'll
That was
keep
a
the
big thing
supplies.
too, right? Like the sidewalk has to be dry in order to
Yes.
apply the spray.
Yes. So we'll need at least a day of no rain beforehand. So it may be just 48 hours notice, but we will keep our eye on the forecast. I can't say enough about how they look. They look great. They look sharp and lovely and professional, and that was with us not knowing what we were doing very much. So I think
Did,
they'll be a
did you guys
beautiful
take pictures?
I did, yes. And Casey took some as well. I will share some of those pictures. Great.
I think we'll have to wait till the snow melts, right?
Well, I mean, it actually, I can see them through the icy slush right now. So I'll send some, some more.
Do you want me to forward them along or share them on here?
Sure.
Okay. Sending them to my computer and then I'll send them and share them on the thing here.
Okay. And I'll get some of them in the snow just because they still look really nice. So it'll be similar to the Sherwood Sheep, where if you're available and can do it, wonderful. If you're not available, if it hits during a day that you're not available, that's totally fine. And we know to have here lots of painter's tape and lots of pieces of cardboard and foam core that you can take with you to shield from the wind. And we will be making some custom stencils based on all of your suggestions. And if anyone wants to get creative, I know Casey wants to freehand some because she's amazing like that. If you want to get creative and make a stencil, please let me know and we'll get you the materials for that. What we had discussed last time was having a certain number so that people could possibly hunt for all of them and be successful. Are we still in agreement about having a manageable number? And also so we all can get that number out successfully.
It would be nice to be a little organized about it, and so we do a specific number and a cohesive what we're doing, which sayings are we doing, what pictures are we going for, are we going to finalize that and then say, okay, two of these, you know what I mean? And then make sure that they're not close to each other. So maybe just we could organize that a little bit ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. Organize a map. We'll map it out a little bit.
That would be nice. Yeah. And then whoever is available, show up and here's what we've got ready to go. And like Kristen said, then you send them out to the areas. I'm having a hard time just because we don't I saw the great picture, and we gave all our great ideas last month, but I just feel like we haven't really finalized what we're doing, I guess. So I'm wanting to finalize it a little bit more.
Well, and some of this will need to be, we need to try it out on the Cricut and see if we can do some of those larger scale, larger words and text. So,
and I think that's also that now I'm remembering. So you guys, you were going to try that out, try some out, and then let us know what you thought would work. And then maybe we could send feedback after that to say, okay, well, here's, the phrase that's the most important to us, or the certain picture that we really want in there.
Yeah, there are a lot of great ideas and words were discussed, but we won't be able to do all of them.
Exactly. So I guess I'm just wondering, narrowing it down, and want to just make sure that we still have some input, I think is what I'm getting at. And I'm happy to help if you need any more behind the scenes organizational stuff.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. One thing that was kind of neat, I know we had talked about utilizing social media to take pictures of where people found them. Rainworks actually has an app where you can find all the Rainworks pavement art, so we can add ours to that app and don't have to reinvent the wheel, and that can be a kind of fun tool for us to use. So I've had fun playing around on that Rainworks app, and we'll figure out how to add ours in and get as technologically proficient as possible with that. So John, is there anything else you would add to that, or Sky, or anyone have any questions about the pavement art?
I don't think so.
What is our target? I know it's all based on weather, but our target is to try to get this done kind of by the first week of March. Is that what we're looking at?
Yes.
Okay. So by the time we can really get it all organized and try out the custom stencils, do you think we'll be looking at the last week of February at all? I know February is a short month.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been looking at the weather. It feels like it's really wet from now until the end of the month. But I guess we are happy as the Art Center staff. We have started mapping out where we think they should go based on your suggestions. I'm happy to continue on that route and then send that to you all. And if there are any objections, or if there's an area that we've neglected or a phrase that we've neglected, I'd love that feedback. And then we can make another stab at it. But I know we have a map where we started to put things together based on the feedback from you all last month.
Great. I got the files shared, but because it looks like the settings changed here, so I had to upload them to OneDrive and then share a shareable link, which I pasted into the chat.
Those are great.
Thanks, John.
Welcome.
I have a question about where they're going to be located and when we have people looking for them. Are you thinking like you'd say like, oh, there's a few in Old Town and then there's a few in this neighborhood? Is that kind of the thought, so people kind of know where to look?
I guess there are two schools of thought over here. Some people want to give hints, and some people want them to just surprise people as they go along. I do think it's important that we publicize that it's happening, so that people know to look down and keep their eyes peeled for them.
Maybe a general location, like
I mean, we could, I think
downtown.
we don't want to frustrate people too. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be fun. It's supposed
I
to
really
be.
like them. I really like them, and the contrast is really great. They really show up.
Yeah, I'm really happy with them.
So one thing we may be able to do, it's going to be, I think, much easier if they're placed on city property or sidewalks right in front of city property. So, I mean, there's a lot, like, for example, even if you said, check out different parks, there's a lot of pathways within parks, like at Snyder Parks, a lot of different locations. So if you roam the path, you'll eventually come across it. So you could give something like that. And even in downtown, we can still, do something in front of the library or in front of City Hall and at the Art Center. So we can hit a lot of locations and spread it out without needing to worry about going on someone else's sidewalk that they're responsible for and getting permission and or creating potential issues with some businesses saying, well, why wasn't I asked? I would have wanted something, and having it be a much longer process. So it might be more straightforward to focus on city properties and base it off of that.
And maybe a bus stop or two.
Yeah,
well, possibly, but again, that's not. Yeah, I mean, we would just need to, depending on how someone looks at it, they could see it as graffiti, even if it's temporary, and we'd need to just work with TriMet or somebody, to make sure that we're communicating who did it and that it's intentional if they're in charge of that location, since every person's in charge of the location or the sidewalk right in front of their property.
So, okay. So I think someone had asked the question, are we going to give people clues about where to look? And I think it is nice to, say something like what you were saying, Kristen. It's along a path. Just encourage people to walk some of our city park paths. Encourage people to, I mean, there are ways to give clues without being too specific about it.
Public areas in Woodhaven or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm. Or, if you're going to go pick up your book from the library. We could make some fun cues and clues on social media. I think we will be putting out a press release though, and hopefully get that in the paper, and we'll put that up on social media as well, just so people know that it's a thing that's happening.
Did we talk about having something like the art walk where you stamp or something if you saw it and try to fill up the whole page or whatever?
Yeah, we had talked about that.
Maybe we can.
Decided that.
I think we talked about the hashtag, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we had decided to go more of a digital hashtag, just because we don't know what hours the center is open, and it comes down to handing out pieces of paper and all those contact points.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
It'll be very followable on social media though. So hopefully, although it won't be a stamped or a physical piece of paper, people can still follow along.
Maybe we can maybe partner with Hungry Hero or Symposium. If you find them all, you can get a coffee from Symposium or a cinnamon roll from over there at Hungry Hero or something along those lines. They always seem to like to volunteer or help with projects like this.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll be open to put an ad in front of their coffee shop.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right. I'm writing this down.
I think that's a great idea. I'm not sure we're going to have time for that.
That's
just kind of need to get it done. Yeah, especially by the first week of March. I think the hashtag and making sure the social media presence is strong, and then just getting them placed. I feel like that's going to take all of the organization of that, and getting them done is going to take our time.
Yeah. And, we can also, if people are taking pictures and hashtagging all the places, there are ways to give shout outs and kudos for people over social media as well. And I hope that, well, we will be very attentive here at the Art Center and see if there's a kid who keeps showing up with all of theirs done. We could do something, a special shout out on social media for that person. We do want to incentivize it somehow, but yeah, right now we've got to just look for a good sunny day, 2 sunny days in a row, and get it out there. Any other questions or concerns or thoughts?
I can't remember, are there different colors or is it all one color?
It's all just the color of wet pavement.
Okay.
Yeah. So it literally looks like just darker gray.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. They look great. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah, no worries. Any other?
Probably since they're biodegradable and everything. I'm
Yeah,
guessing no colors probably.
Right.
It's a very defensible product, which
Yes.
is great. They've improved. So we will be putting, we'll be dividing the spray bottles into smaller spray bottles and get that process going. Looking forward to it. And thank you all in advance for being available to make it happen around town as much as you're able.
Awesome. They do look beautiful. So, okay. So we'll just, then we're waiting to hear from you. And then, okay.
Yes.
Sounds good.
All right. I just wanted to give a quick Be the Light update, which is, of course, the piece of community engagement public art that's going to happen over at Cannery. And it looks like that will go up in early March as well. Again, we're just waiting for some good weather, and I'll have more information about that for you all. But the materials are built, and I hope to have everyone in this body participate in that, and hopefully it will be a meaningful moment for the community as we're still in the rainy, cold, dark winter season. So
I know that the Be the Light morphed a ton, and you probably don't want me to ask you this, but where is it still kind of morphing based on what is allowed, or have you settled on how it's going to be done?
So I still need to run this past senior leadership, but the project has not morphed with us from extreme risk to high risk. If we're able to manage outdoor crowd size, which I feel really confident that we are able to in Sherwood, we should be able to safely execute the project. It will just mean a lot of front end management and making sure the rules and expectations of how to participate are really clear. But the project should be able to go forward as was originally intended, with small lights and people writing intentions and clipping them on the lit shelves. So.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So is that it? Is that it about Be the Light for now? And what is the time frame on that again? It's
early March.
Early March.
I want to get it done before spring break.
Okay. And spring break. I haven't even looked that up. When is it in Sherwood this year?
I think it's March.
Does it matter? I don't know.
March 22nd.
It's second to last.
March.
Can't believe we're already.
I know. It's crazy. Okay. So in time for spring break. Got you. And hopefully some great wet weather.
Yeah, I mean, hoping for it. It will be impactful regardless, but
of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be impactful in a different way if it's rainy.
All right. Thank you. Sounds good. So is that it for public art engagement updates?
Yes, I did want to let people know that the city council has received the murals plan, and right now our legal counsel of the city is looking at it and just giving it another few looks over and make sure that it's exactly what we want and how best that can be, how best the plan can be rolled out. And he's been really helpful on that. So things are moving ahead and feeling positive.
Great. That's good. I'm glad they've got it. Have you gotten feedback from any counselors yet?
A few have said, great job, and really happy to have it. A few questions were asked of Josh, which is why our legal counsel is just taking one more look at it, and his wealth of knowledge on how best to pursue it. But I think the feeling is positive.
Great. Fantastic. Okay. Looking forward to more updates on that one soon. Thank you. All right. Well, if we have no more questions about public art, we can move on to Councillor Garland for the council update.
Hey, hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, we're busy, surprisingly enough. So we meet tomorrow night, kind of a light session as far as the actual new business, just a resolution about contract with WCCLS, extending the public library service agreement. Always important. I don't mean to limit that. Love the library, and they're actually back up and running. If anybody has any items on hold, I'm gonna swing down to the library tomorrow and pick up a couple things. But we've got a couple good, interesting work session items both before and after the meeting tomorrow night. We're talking about pedestrian crosswalk standards, just kind of taking a look at those, making sure that we have some consistency, I think, and some just good visibility all around on crosswalks. I know that pedestrian safety is always an issue around town, and one that I kind of hold dear as well. I like to walk around a lot, and I know that we have a lot of kids who walk to school. And one of the things that we started last year and as part of our goals, we kind of keep trying to push forward as well as the Safe Routes to School program. We did a pilot with that last year at Archer Glen and had just a huge turnout of kids walking and riding their bike. So we're just going to take a look at our pedestrian crosswalk standards and make sure those are all looking good and seeing if there's any ways that we can improve those. I'm going to talk about the Brookman area. That's always something we're looking at, what kind of the future of that area is going to look like. So we'll be talking about that at 6 tomorrow before our regular session. And then after our regular session, our state representative, Courtney Neuron, is going to join us just for a public discussion. She, as you may be aware, was reelected last November for another term. So she's in her second term. She's been great to work with. So we're just going to kind of talk about what our goals are for the next 2 years and longer, see how she can help us out with those. As she's working through the legislative session here in Salem, we want to make sure that we have her ear. So she's fighting for us down there, trying to get all the money that we can for some of our pet projects that we've got here. So that's going to be after the session. I don't have a time for that because I don't know exactly how long the actual regular session will last. But if you're interested in watching it live, those are always streamed on YouTube on the City of Sherwood YouTube channel. They're also recorded as well, so you can go back and watch them after the fact if you'd like. We are meeting in person actually this Saturday at the Center for the Arts. We're going to have our annual goal setting session. We do this once a year where the council gets together with our senior leadership, the directors of our city, and look at our goals and review last year's goals, see what kind of achievements and progress we've made on those, refine those goals if we need to, create some new goals. And so we have a third-party vendor that we work with that helps facilitate our goal setting sessions, that we're bringing back the same ones that we used last year. It's a group out of Texas. We found them to be very, very helpful last year. And one of the things that we've done, and maybe Kristen and Shanda, you can help with my poor memory, I feel like it's been maybe the last 2 years, maybe in the last 3 years, where we've actually brought in the senior leadership of the city into these goal setting sessions to really actively engage in these goals. And that has been so helpful in these goal setting sessions, because before it was kind of the council would get together and say, this is what we want to do, and then just kind of throw it over to the senior leadership and say, good luck, please go get this done for us, But now we've got senior leadership literally at the tables with us, letting us know what they can do, what they can't do, helping us shape these goals. It really, really is important, because we're the ones that just come up with the ideas, and they're the ones that do it. We get way too much credit for the things that happen in this city. It's people like Kristen and Julia and Shanda and Craig Sheldon and who are out there helping manage their resources that get it done based on what we'd like to do. So looking forward to that work session. It's going to be great because all of our counselors were reelected in November as well, so we can continue pursuing the goals that we set last year. We're going to have to tweak them a little bit, of course, this year. We are obviously in the last year, some things have changed, but I wouldn't anticipate any radical changes. The big things that have been driving our goals last year and certainly the previous year as well is civic engagement. How do we get people involved in the city, and how do we support our local businesses and small businesses, either our current local businesses who obviously are going to need a lot of attention right now, and then still growing where we can. And we actually have had quite a bit of growth in this last year. That was rather impressive, how much we continued to develop and work and bring in new businesses. So we'll be discussing that on Saturday. I don't know if that's going to be recorded or not. I'm not certain on that. I don't know if we have the capabilities over there at the Art Center, but let's see what else. Looking forward, just real quick. Yeah, we've got some more stuff going on. Probably nothing radically interesting to anybody right now. We did decide to punt on the sign code. I don't know if anybody had been following that at all. We were looking at revising our feather flags, perhaps, for the signs, the teardrop flags. We've been kicking that around for quite some time. There's some opinions from some folks on council about limiting those or outright banning those, but I think cooler heads have prevailed on that, and we are going to put that off for probably at least 3 to 6 months, I think is what we decided our last council meeting, with the thought being that right now is not the time to do anything that could potentially impact negatively any of our small businesses here in Sherwood. And some of them have reached out to us. The Chamber of Commerce has also kind of facilitated some of those conversations, from our local businesses saying, these are important to us. This is how we attract attention, how we bring people in. Now's not the time to impact that. So if anybody had been following that, we've moved that down the line a little bit. I think that's it for now. I don't have anything else super important to discuss, but I'm certainly open to any questions that anybody might have.
Thanks, Sean. Actually, I do have a question because I'm
Sure.
just curious. I love to hear about things happening. So you're having this meeting on Saturday.
Yes.
What are the semantics of that? So I know it's 50, is it 50 people in the building? Are they spacing the setup?
Yeah.
How's that all going?
Yeah, typically we would have it at City Hall in our regular meeting room. We'd set up tables in there, but we're using the Center for the Arts specifically because of the space that it allows. We are going to separate out as much as possible where we can. Masks, I'm fairly certain are going to be required for all of us because we are indoors. I think there is the option for anybody who is not comfortable coming in. I think we're going to still allow for some type of online presence as well. Yeah, we have not met in person as a council in a long time. I think the thought behind this as to why we want to do it in person is it's just a little bit easier to facilitate conversation when you're actually in a room together with folks. This type of thing where it's a goal setting session, it is a very interactive just really set up, and so it's I'm a little leery about it. I haven't, if anybody's ever watched any of our council meetings, I'm the guy who's always way too cautious on everything. So I'll be probably holding my breath a lot of the time when I'm in there. But yeah, it's important to us, and it's something that we're going to really help move us forward for the rest of the year. So yeah, we're definitely Joe Gall, our city manager, has been speaking with a lot of other cities who have also done their goal setting sessions already this year. I think he's gotten some good best practices from a lot of them on how they've done them and what's worked out well. So we'll definitely be taking as many precautions as we can, and it's really only for this meeting. We're still going to continue all of our regular meetings, all of our board and commission meetings online for the time being. So, but this one just really does work best in person.
Yeah, no, that's great. And that's great that you have such a large venue in the center.
Yes. Yep.
Which really is open and lots of ventilation, and yeah, that's great. And then if people still have the option to not go if they're uncomfortable, it's all well within the guidelines. But no, I was just curious because I think that's great that you're able to do it. And I know the same thing. The fire department, my husband at headquarters, they've been very careful about who comes into the office when, but they do have to have sometimes these meetings where it's important for them to be together, and they come into a large space and just space out and wear masks, and it's worked really well. So
I will probably be comically far in the corner. Probably it'll probably be a little embarrassing, but
with your double mask.
So. Yeah, exactly.
That's okay.
I'm with you.
That's
I'm
an
right
that's an asset of being a large space that we can manipulate all the chairs around. So we're getting at our measuring sticks, and we're excited to set it up for this.
Yep.
Maybe some blue painter's tape would make Sean feel better to see the actual.
Oh, there's gonna be blue painter's tape on the tables, so you guys each have 35 square feet around you.
Well, that brings up a good point, though, Sky. Though, of course, I'm sure everybody is aware about on Friday that we did officially move from extreme risk to high risk, and the unfortunate timing, of course, with the ice storm at the same time as restaurants trying to reopen for in-person dining was really, really unfortunate. But it looks like the weather's clearing now, so where you feel safe and if you feel comfortable going out dining in person, some of our restaurants and some of our other facilities are starting, I should say also some of our exercise facilities as well are starting to slowly reopen following the guidelines to do it as safely as possible. So if you feel comfortable, help out some of those small businesses. If you don't, that's totally cool. There's still other options. Many of our restaurants are still focusing heavily on takeout and some of the other curbside options. So there's still ways to support them if you can, but if you're one of those people who really likes to eat in person, then it's slowly opening up. So.
Yeah, that's great. I will still be doing takeout for a while, but I'm glad that they can open and start to, take in some more money and hopefully help these small businesses survive. So.
Indeed. Yep. Our numbers are coming down, but that's because we're doing the right thing. So just everybody keep doing the right thing.
Oregon's one of the best in the country for numbers. So yeah, we got to keep it
Absolutely.
up. All right. Well, thank you so much for the update.
Of course. Any other questions? I'm certainly open, but
anybody else? Good. Everybody's quiet tonight. Do we have any other? I don't, but anyone else? No? Nope. Well, I'll just say again, I'm glad everybody. Oh, Shanda, you don't have power at your house, do you? Still or no?
We do not.
Oh my
My
God.
husband is supposed to text me as soon as it comes back on, but
Are you? Did you bring your sleeping bag to the center?
no. I love the center, but I have boundaries, so no, I'll be going. No, we're lucky. We have a wood stove and we have gas heat, and yeah, we're fine. But yeah, it's nice to see everyone's face and making sure everyone's safe and
Yeah.
and
I
doing
hope
okay.
power comes back on soon, and I'm glad everybody else's is on, and we're almost done with this lovely little ice storm. So great to see you all. Thank you so much. I think we are adjourned.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Leah.
Thank
yep,
you.
thanks
Yes.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Sky.
Shanda is gone. Close this off. Yeah, it stopped.